I haven't eaten all day.
Hi, Leonard. Thanks for being here today.
Sure.
Just wondering how the performance indicators look for this fight compared to Mayweather-Pacquiao so far?
As I was just out there telling, it's different. And I guess it's just a whole different feel. You know, it's electrifying. It's nowhere I go, any of my team, definitely Floyd, where people aren't talking about Mayweather McGregor. This shit is big. I'm not even going front. It's big. People can downplay it and call it whatever they want to. This is big.
Thank you.
It's big.
Batty Jack and Gervonta Davis both put on really impressive performances here in January. Just wondering if there's any update on the undercard on either of those guys.
No, I'm working on it. And I'll have something in the next probably a week or so. It's a lot. It's just, you just can't just throw together stuff. I mean, sometimes you get started with doing some stuff and you have some very, very good intentions, and because my initial intentions were to really blow you guys away with what I'm gonna do, and I'm still gonna put together something very good. We're gonna have the whole week is gonna be good. Put it that way. The whole week is gonna be good. I'm doing a show on 22nd, which is Tuesday.
Leonard, do you think to your left? Leonard, to your left?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you think it's important to have an electrifying undercard, because the main event could end up being, it's expected to be one-sided, so do you think it's important to have the undercard of explosive fights?
Why do you say it's one-sided? I'm just curious.
To be honest, skill set wise, experience, everything, I can go down the list. I mean, there's no chance for McGregor personally.
Okay, well, we have a lot of very intelligent people in here that I've been knowing for a very long time. Guys who I really respect, the Tom Hausers. There's a lot of guys in here that I've been knowing for a very long time. I want to see a raise of hands, and how many of you media members picked Jeff Horn? Be honest. You picked Jeff Horn.
Yeah.
For real.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But Jeff is a boxer. He's an experienced boxer. So that's.
Is he a full-time boxer?
He's still a boxer. And still was an amateur, still was an Olympian too.
Listen. When it comes down to this boxing, when it comes down to this boxing shit, it's a lot of times, and I'm not saying this to slight anybody anywhere, but if you ain't been in there, it's quick to say that, this fighter don't have a chance, but to a T, I see there's only one guy, and all of you guys are considered experts. All of you guys are considered experts. And there's not one of you in here, with the exception of my man over here to my left, that picked Jeff Horn. And I'm not saying that he went in there and he unanimously beat Manny or whatever, but the circumstances are what they are. He was in a competitive fight that nobody thought or gave him a chance to win. Even Manny Pacquiao, if he's very honest with himself, he would say that I didn't think that he had a chance. I'm sure that his promoter would say the same thing. And then what happens is you end up in a situation where it's like, damn, he's winning there and he got the victory. But that's what happens when you get to looking ahead and you take guys for granted. And see, one of the things that I think that Floyd has been very, very successful at is because he never takes anything or anybody for granted. Regardless of what any of you guys say, he's always prepared and he comes ready. And I'm not going to never say that, a guy don't never have a chance. As long as the guy, he got two hands, anything could happen. I think it was probably a couple weeks ago, I was going back and looking at a lot of footage. I was studying Conor McGregor and then looking at some old Floyd footage. And I was really, really shocked at how, I think it was at the fourth round and Donald won, how it was just a weird shot that Floyd got caught with. And it was just like out of nowhere because it was just awkward. And that's what happens when you're fighting awkward fighters. Mostly, because a lot of these fighters have, great amateur backgrounds, and you kind of fighting is a rhythm thing. You kind of, what Floyd, as Floyd say, most of the guys are ABC 1, 2, 3. It becomes a little unorthodox when you got guys who do things a little different. They're awkward. Anything can happen in these fights, and I'm a firm believer that's why you prepare. I've been in situations where I done seen, I think it was the Hernandez fight. Floyd hurt his hands early in the fight. A lot of people didn't know that. They knew later in the fight where, I think they were trying to say it's a knockdown or whatever, where he would fracture both of his hands. What happens if he comes out in the second round and cracks him upside his head and he turns the hook over and he hurts both of his hands? What happens? Any damn thing can happen in the fight. That's why that's why you fight the fight. And the more and more you guys consider to say that guy don't have a chance, I know he's sitting over there licking his chops and he's sitting there like, okay, he got a chance that's as good as anybody else does.
To your right, Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned taking a look back at some of Floyd's previous fights. From an analytical standpoint, I think Conor McGregor is a combination of Emmanuel Augustus with the herky-jerky movements and then the Chino Maidana with the overhand clubbing blows. What were some of the adjustments that Floyd had to make in those two fights to kind of figure out those guys and get their timing and the spacing proper so he could do his thing?
Well, that Emmanuel Augustus fight, Floyd had to dig down for that one. I remember that. He had to dig down for that one. Because little things happen. I can remember his nose being bloody in that fight. That had never happened before. It happened in the gym before. But it's psychologically, a lot of things goes on. Floyd is the professional with a tremendous amount of experience, so he's seen everything. But there's certain things in the fight, you can hurt your shoulder. Anything can happen in a fight, man. And when you're in there, a lot of things that go on in a fight, you guys don't pick up on and see, because there's been times when I know for a fact that Floyd's been buzzed in the fight, you guys never even knew about it. Never even knew about it. You know what I'm saying? It's share time? Nope.
Leonard Ellerbe from ESPN. How are you?
How you doing, Darren?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great.
Can you talk a little bit about tickets? We know it's the 500 to 10,000, but when you compare it to Mayweather Pacquiao, in terms of the distribution, is it similarly priced? Is it going to be more expensive on an average ticket? Do you know where it's going to go now?
No, I've given out the ticket prices. They're 500, 1,500, 2,500, 3,500, 5, 75, and 10.
Okay. And the same number as Mayweather Pacquiao, pretty much?
Pretty much. Yeah.
What's the large gate going to be?
Say it again.
What would you estimate the large gate for the fight?
I don't want to get into that. It's going to be a big number. The guys, nobody's going to be complaining about that.
What are you going to buy?
Huh?
What are you going to buy? What
What'd you say?
are you going to buy?
With me? Oh, I don't get caught up into that. We just do what we do and try to put on these big events and get the fans what they want, and you don't get caught up in it. And you've been in all these big events, it's business as usual, and now I think that's Floyd's approach. I think, being with him for 21 years, it's like the things that impress me the most is to see how that he goes about his business and he takes his job very, very seriously. There are times I've been at his house at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we going over creative for the fights, and he's giving me his opinions, and next thing I know, I get up to go use the bathroom, and 15 minutes later, I'm coming back, we're sitting at the table like, where'd Floyd go? He disappeared, and he's off running. And here's the guy, he's made several hundred millions of dollars, but the fire still burns in him to be the best.
I can't recall the last time they were predicting a knockout, but he's been pretty adamant on this tour that he's going to the knockout. Do you really think that we're going to see him deliver that?
I think this knockout things get blown out of proportion. Floyd Mayweather is a tremendous puncher. Let's not get that twisted. He's a tremendous puncher. But what happens is that it's hard to knock out guys who outweigh by 18, 20 pounds, and that's been the case for every one of his fights for a very long time. I can think of maybe 1 or 2 instances where a guy don't outweigh 40 by at least 15 pounds the night of. And it might have been Zab Judah, and it's probably, and maybe Marquez. But everyone else, you know, the Oscars on down, you know, Shane Mosley, them guys come in, Floyd comes in. There's been a time, I think, in the De La Hoya fight, I think he weighed in at 50 the day before, but we got on the scale at his house the next morning, and he lost a pound. And most guys pick up weight. It's just his metabolism, and he walks around in kind of like his fighting weight. So when guys are at a high skill level, so it's hard to knock out guys who are very skilled. You know what I'm saying? Where the skill sets are not necessarily equal, but it's hard to get these guys. But it's even harder when guys they outweigh you by that much.
Do you let me create Floyd's the parser, and you know him saying he's go for a knockout? Or do you think that's just bluster? You know, pre-fight hype. He never really says that. He always says that. You got his victory always. I never really hear him saying I'm going for a knockout.
Well, I wish you guys could watch Floyd train. I mean, really, really watch him train and like spar. From what you guys see on fight night is a total different fighter in the gym. Total different fighter.
Am I invited?
Of course, you can come play. And he's a total different fighter. It's like, I think because he prepares. If he got to go there, he can go there. He can go there. He can go there. If Floyd needs to go there, he can go there. And he prepares himself for that way. And a lot of times, it's like, I guess it's just like with anything. It's like some things just come easy to him. You know, it's like, because he's on another level. He's on another level.
Right. Mitchell Arcus, Real Talk Boxing. Floyd Mayweather's been going into his fights a lot more defensive, very calculated, low risk, a lot of footwork. In his fight, he's saying that he wants to score a knockout. I know that we just spoke about that, but even if he doesn't score a knockout, do you expect that he's going to go in there and aggressively attack McGregor, or is he going to go in there, play it safe and outclass him?
Floyd don't go into fights playing safe. It's just how the other guy fights. And a lot of times you have to, for one of Floyd's greatest, I think, attributes is his ability to adjust in the fight. You know, I've seen it, you know, having the Judah fight, you know, he walked Judah down and punished him. You know what I'm saying? The Shane Mosley fight, that's probably one of my favorite fights. Before he gets caught with the big shot, and all you guys think, oh, he's out of there, we finally got him. And he comes back like a dog. You know what I'm saying? That second, after the whatever round, I think it was the fourth round, that's the fighter you see in the gym. That's the fighter you see in the, and certain, you know, if a guy brings out the dog in him, that's what you're going to get. That's exactly what you're going to get. Boy's a dog. He's a dog.
Leonard, from a business, straight ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking over here, thinking about this food.
From a business standpoint, what kind of platform does Mayweather-McGregor represent for the rest of the Mayweather Promotions brand?
I think this is a great thing. It's a wonderful feeling that Mayweather Promotions is promoting this fight. It's another great platform for us to be able to show you what we bring to the table. You know, the days are gone. You know, we got certain guys in here who got their favorite promoters and all that, but all we do is keep on working. We keep on working and put on these big events. That's all we do. Is keep on working and put on these big events. To be able to say that you're the promoter of the biggest event in the history of the sport, that's a wonderful feeling. And I'm very, very happy and very appreciative of my team. And a lot of them are in here, Kelly, and most important, my right-hand person, Nicole Craig. These guys, we learned, we sat in some situations and we learned, and we're taking our company to the next level. You know, what you're seeing now, you can expect these kind of, obviously not fighters, because there'll never be another Floyd Mayweather, but these kind of big events with, bringing something different to the table. That's what you're gonna see from Mayweather Promotions.
Hey, Leonard.
Leonard?
Okay.
Hey, from Leonard.
Okay.
How you doing?
All right.
Floyd wins this fight, he'll be 50-0. I wondered, I have two questions. One is, has he at any point mentioned that as the goal or something that as part of his motivation for this fight to get that nice round 50-0 record, which is going to look so pretty?
That 50-0 thing, I think, is more so, it matters to you guys. Floyd was happily retired at 49, because what does it mean? I mean, from the historical standpoint, it's a great thing. And, you can say you can go down in the record books. Floyd Mayweather's going down in the record books anyway, because he defied the odds. He did things his way. He did everything that most of you guys, not all, thought he could never do. Who would ever thought a little bitty guy who walks around at 140-some pounds became the biggest star in all of sports, in a niche sport where boxing isn't a mainstream sport. Boxing at that time, wasn't seen every week like the NBA and NFL, and it's like Floyd Mayweather has single-handedly put boxing on his back. And I owe a great amount of credit to this man over here to our left, who he believed in us. He believed in us, and that was the difference in I think in the career. When it came time for because Floyd has always had a vision where he wanted to do these things on the next level. You give the fans things that they hadn't seen before, and the reason why I'm taking the time to give Stephen Espinosa the credit is because he believed in the vision, and working along with him and Les, they took that vision and they gave it to the fans. And that's why Showtime has become the #1 network in the sport, hands down.
My other question for you, Leonard, thank you for that, by the way. My other question is, when this fight is over, do you think that Floyd will then go back in retirement and be done for good? It'll be, I look at it and I see he'll be 41 in January, he'll be 50-0. He'll have made another however many hundreds of millions on this big monster pay-per-view. And at that point, maybe he would in fact be done. Has he said anything to you about that, or what's your gut about what he does beyond this?
Floyd promised this the other day that he's not doing this. I mean, and this, you got to remember, this is an incredible opportunity that no one would have ever turned down, regardless of what anyone will say with these ridiculous comments that you hear with some of the press members about how they try to bash this fight. One thing about you guys who want to call it this and call it that, you sit around, call it whatever you want to. This shit is big. this shit is big, and it's bigger than everybody in this room. This thing has caught fire, and the mainstream world wants to see this. And how can you go, excuse my French, my mom would be pissed at me every day or curse words. How you gonna go and shit on somebody's fight, something that everybody wanna see? We didn't ask for this. We didn't sit around and beg this and that. The fans wanna see this.
I was asking if he's going to retire.
No, I'm not even gonna go there with you, Dad. 'Cause you were the main one that tried to encourage people that, don't go and buy it. But guess what? It don't even matter what you say, because guess what? This shit is gonna be big, whatever what you say. It don't matter. You can write your little stories. It don't even matter. It don't even matter. It don't even matter. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for you, and it's been that way. We can agree to disagree, but it don't matter what you say, because boxing and this event is way bigger than Dan Raphael. This isn't about Dan Raphael. I can tell you that. This isn't about you. You're great at what you do, but you don't know everything. You don't know everything. And I'm not. And don't take this wrong. This is not me bashing. I'm just. I would say this to him because we have these kind of exchanges, but it's like we can agree to disagree. This is bigger than one person and having an opinion. Whether you like it or not, you don't have to tune in and buy it. You don't have to tune in. This is a big event that the fans have demanded. The fans want this. And we talking about casual fans. We talking about casual fans. I mean, here it is. I got a call from a very, very prominent manager. And he asked me the other day, he was like, can you please get a friend of mine some tickets to today's work tour? And it's amazing that like the anticipation, the build up, that what people want to see this. And because the times have changed, it's like, it's okay with the fights that other people have. I'm a fight fan myself, and a big. You would never see one thing about me. You would never see me shit on nobody else's fight. That's not how I get down. I'm happy for everybody. Everybody's entitled to go out there and do things the way they do it. You can't get mad at us because we figured this shit out and we done things the right way. When I say the right way, we found a way to go out and take this thing to a whole nother level. We did this. We did this. It's like, and you can't get mad because the people are receptive to it and they embrace it because this is what they want to do. It's called entertainment. It's entertainment. And at the end of the day, that's what we're in a society now where that's what people want to see. You can sit there and say whatever you want to. People are intrigued about the Kardashians. That's what people want to see. That's what it is. How can you be mad at anybody for that? Floyd has accomplished a number of things. He's broken all the records in his career. And in my opinion, they will never ever be broken again. But at the end of the day, this is entertainment, and we're giving the fans exactly what they want to see. Whether you agree or you disagree, it's okay. I personally and Floyd personally, we respect each and every one of you, whether they're good stories, bad stories. At the end of the day, continue to write.
What about the hardcore? Hey Leonard, to what degree, what's driving this tremendous interest you describe, and what portion of it you think has to do with this notion of the great white hope? This idea that McGregor could, take Mayweather down.
Well,
describe that.
That's a very interesting question. There are a large segment of people who really believe in Conor McGregor and his abilities, and it's just what it is. I mean, they're his supporters, and it's the same way with Floyd. Floyd has a tremendous amount of support. It just happens to be that Floyd Mayweather has been the biggest name in the sport for a number of years, after Mike Tyson retired, Floyd's taken over the sport and put the sport on his back. And Conor McGregor, he's such an exciting personality. And again, times have changed. You gotta get away from the way things were done before, the traditional this and this. Nobody wanna see that shit. It's like, nobody wanna see that. It's like, people like to see people talking trash. And you call it whatever you want to, that's what people wanna see. Because at the end of the day, when them guys get in there, it's like, if you're thinking that Floyd is going to sleep and saying, oh, I'm not gonna train, I'm not gonna take this guy, you got another thought coming, because it ain't gonna happen. We just saw what happens when you take somebody for granted, and you sitting around and you're gonna have it ever.
Leonard, Anthony Sula, Heffinger, Yahoo Sports. Dana White came in and spoke about how Floyd and Conor are two of the best trash talkers in the business. You just called Conor an exciting personality. Can you elaborate on how you feel about what he's brought to the table and his camp in terms of promoting this fight? Because we know how well you and Mayweather Promotions do so.
Well, I think that this is the first time that Floyd has somebody on the outside that can carry a promotion. We saw a little bit about with Ricky Hatton. He was really witty and funny, and he was a very good fighter. He has at that particular time, and I had this conversation with Dan. Remember when all the Brits that came over and I come in the hotel at 3 or 4 in the morning and they're singing and chanting and drinking beer, and that's what happens with these. That's why I love the beautiful country we're in, but a lot of you guys are just so critical. You got to do your job, the fans, they really get behind their teams and their fighters, and those guys put their countries on their back, and win, lose, or draw, they still ride with them. They still ride with them, and Conor McGregor's no different. There's not one Irish person that don't believe that Conor McGregor's going to beat Floyd Mayweather. And you just think about the amount of Irish people that we have in this world, you know, and that's a fact. They actually believe, and I can't blame him. I mean, he's a very confident young man. He's 28 years old, and you know, he's had a couple setbacks, but for the most part, he popped that trash and he backs it up though.
Leonard here, thanks, sir, right here. You talked a little bit, you touched about the training that Floyd was doing. I mean, how does this training camp compare to the ones that you've seen him do in the past? And how would you say he's changed up that training to deal with, you know, obviously a different kind of fighter that he's used to?
I can honestly say with anything that the older you get, you don't do things the same. I mean, no matter in your mind, when you've been with somebody for so long, whether it be wife, husband, friend, you know, whatever. When you get older, you just don't do it. You know, you just slow down just a little bit. You know, that don't mean that you're not as good as you used to be, but you find other ways to compensate for, you know, like I noticed the first 2 weeks that he got, by the way, he got started a little earlier than he'd known before it was active. It'd be, he started out at 8 weeks, and 6 weeks in, we looking for, you know, it's like, man, you got to slow down. It's like, he's sharp as a razor, you know. But now it's like, first 2 weeks, started a little early. He was very sore, you know what I mean? You're not used to your body getting hit, and you know, your timing's off, and he might not admit that he was frustrated. It's like, because then psychologically, you start saying in your mind, it's like, damn, am I losing the step? And is this really like, you know, not me, you know? And then, you know, then it starts to pick up and come around. And I think that's kind of where he's at now, that where things are starting, you know, we go into 6 weeks now, that they're starting to come together slowly but surely. You see his timing is starting to come back, just slowly but surely, but he's not there where he wants to be. And I think that has a lot to do with, you know, being off, and he's 40 years old. I mean, it's no secret.
Yeah, I mean, he looked great on that Instagram that he posted. I mean, is that something that he thinks about before he throws something like that on social media? You know, with the eyes.
The double impact don't hit back. Double impact don't hit back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't sit there and tell me that. So we fought Madonna in 2014. You can't tell me in 2010, you know, 11, whatever, you know, 8, 7, if Floyd would have got caught with that shot from Madonna. With all due respect to him as a fighter, he's not overly fast. You know what I mean? He got caught with a looping shot at the end of round 4. That he was really buzzed. And if we, and you know, we had this discussion. If there probably would have been 30 more seconds in that round, we've been in some trouble. We've been in some trouble because he was clearly buzzed. He was clearly buzzed. So a lot of times God is on your side, and when the bell rung, he was able to kind of revive himself. Anything can happen in this stuff, man. It's just like, that's why it's just like, you know, me personally, I'm sitting there in front row, I'm nervous. In all them fights, I'm just sitting there, and I don't go in there like, oh, it's a cakewalk, because you just know. It's just like, because boxing, if a lot of you guys who really don't understand, boxing comes down to timing and inches. Timing and inches. You come this close with catching a guy and not catching the guy, and that's the difference of connecting and not connecting.